Good evening, this is Representative Ben Carpenter, and this is a capital update for January 16th. I am going to give you a quick recap of what happened on the floor session today. The main thing that we did was a decline to override the governor's vetoes, and this is important because it addresses or points towards the way ahead for a long-term fix to our education problem. The overriding the governor's vetoes was for one-time funding, education funding, among other things, but that's the major piece of it. And what the House is really focused on is a long-term solution to our education funding issues. And so you're going to see in the days ahead here discussion along about the vehicle, Senate Bill 140. That's going to be what we combine financial increases to inside the BSA with policies that are designed to improve the outcomes and the accountability of our education system. So I'll just speak briefly about the three provisions that I'm watching within Senate Bill 140, and that's going to come up here. Let's see, Wednesday will be Senate Bill 140 in the Rules Committee meeting at 4 p.m. Three provisions I'm watching are, one of them is tied to the transportation piece of this, which for charter schools, there's no transportation. The other one is a provision that is giving the State Board of Education the ability to charter schools directly in the case that a charter school is having a problem getting a charter through the local school district. And the other provision is to bring to parity the funding for correspondence programs when compared to regular brick and mortar students. So those are three provisions that I'm watching within that bill. It's hard to tell exactly how the bill is going to end up. It's a negotiation process. Inside the BSA increase that's currently in the bill, I understand, is a $300 increase, and that is likely to be a contentious issue as we move forward. I think that it also highlights that there needs to be a discussion on local solutions for the decline of student populations, because we wouldn't have a problem or as large a problem with the BSA funding if we did not have a declining student population. And so local people should be asking the question of the school board and the administrators there, what are we doing locally to help stem the outward migration of students and families from our school system? And this also helps point us to why economic growth is so doggone important, right? If people are leaving the state because our economy is not doing well, then we're not, part of the solution is growing the economy, and that's a much harder thing to address, but it's necessary if we want to solve the education funding piece of this. The other thing I wanted to give you an update what to expect here this next week. Since this is the first day of the session, I'm going to highlight some of the things that I think you need to know about. Our Finance Committee is going to have 3 meetings this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and they're all at 1:30 p.m. On Wednesday, there's going to be a presentation by the Commissioner of Department of Natural Resources, and this is a production forecast presentation. On Thursday, you're going to see a savings, reserves, and investment funds presentation by Department of Revenue Commissioner Adam Crum. And on Friday, Commissioner Crum will be back for a revenue forecast. So those are three meetings that you'll want to pay attention to, because it'll help shape budget discussions going forward. Our Judiciary Committee, which I sit on, is going to meet on Wednesday, and we have 3 bills on the calendar for that. HB 129, which is a voter registration bill, HB 4, which is a repeal ranked choice voting bill, and HJR 7, which is a constitutional amendment to constitutionally protect the permanent fund dividend. I want to speak briefly about that bill, because that's a House Ways and Means bill that I had created, and it's basically one part of the fiscal plan that I promoted last year. And because it was such a challenge to get people to wrap their brains around multiple components of a fiscal plan, we're going to take a different tact and go with starting with this solution to a PFD problem. And all that the constitutional amendment does is direct the legislature that there will be a PFD paid every year. and then that PFD will be paid per the statute. So if we want to see a change in the size of the PFD, for example, then you would change the statute, but you don't have to fight over it in the appropriations process. And as this is one part of a component of a larger fiscal plan, it's probably the most important one because it gets us started moving forward towards other systemic change that would happen once you get this one component moving forward. And again, it's a constitutional amendment, and the voters will be able to vote on it in November if we can get it passed this session. A couple other bills that I want to update you on. Labor and Commerce is going to hear HB 100 at 3:15 p.m. on Wednesday, January 17th. This is a paid family leave bill. January 19th on Friday, they will talk about HB 119, which is a marijuana tax bill, and that's also at 3:15 p.m. And then on Monday, January 22nd, they're going to discuss HB 115, which is a naturopaths licensing bill, and there'll be public testimony involved with that. And it looks like all three of those in Labor and Commerce will include public testimony. I also want to highlight that the constitutional amendment HJR 7 this Friday, January 19th, will be discussed in Judiciary, and it will have public testimony opportunity as well. So you've got it was like 4 different opportunities for public testimony in the next few days. That's what we got going on for this week, and what happened today. I will endeavor to keep you updated after each session and once a week on what the calendar for the next week looks like. So until the next iteration of the Capital Update, this is Representative Ben Carpenter signing off from Juneau.